This is the entrance to the national park, and we're going to be going up these mountains, and it doesn't look like it because these block the view, but we're going to be going up about 800 feet or more into the hills, and then the cavern is 700 and some odd feet, 50 something or 60 something feet down. But first we have to drive up. These cliffs that we're seeing now are what remain of a 250 million year old coral reef, and the ocean once backed up to this area here. That was 250 million years ago. And since then, you know, waters have washed and the earth's shifted, the plates of the earth shifted and formed these canyons that we're driving through. And then the caves were formed, I think, 60 million years ago. But this is what we're driving through right now. And in these rocks, you can see lots of remnants of, you know, shell and things like that. Shell, sponges, and other life. This is the cave popcorn, and it looks like some of the things we found in rocks around this area. Or cave pearls. Those are the caverns that we're going to go under. This is a mini model of what we're doing. So right now we are in the building above, and that tube is the elevator shaft. That's going to take us down. Yesterday we walked in the natural entrance, which is over here. And so you zigzag down, and this was a mile. I think it was a mile and a half. Is that how much it was?
No.
Mile and something. And this is the area where the bats are. And you're gonna walk, we walk down through here. And then this is the lunchroom, it's the big room, it's called. It has low ceilings. And then you can take these tunnels underground, all in here. This is all the cave. To what's called the big room. I'm looking for the the King's Tour. Here's the big room here. This is what we're going to walk in again today. You can see it has depressions where it goes really deep. And then this is a lower cave. I don't know if this was the King's Room or not. It's not labeled. Oh, here's the King's and Queen's Tour. No, we didn't go on the lower cavern one. we went on this tour, which is a separate tour. This is the Kings and Queens King's Palace tour, which has a lot more stalactites, and they're like right over your head. So these are the chambers you walk through, which is really fascinating.
It's completely dark in the case.
We just entered the elevator and now we're descending down to one of the great rooms at the bottom of the cave. We're going down into the cavern right now. It's measuring how many feet down we've gone so far. My ears just popped. Did yours? You swallowed it, pop. Here we are at the cave. The first thing you see is some of the cave here. This is lit up really well, so I'm going to show you this. And then you come through these doors here. And you're entering the gift shop before you hit the big room. There's the large gift shop here. Ceilings are pretty low in here. You can see the people here to the ceilings. Now in the rooms, the chamber that we're going in is the big room. So we're going to go through the cave here and it's dimly lit. Let's see. And then it starts getting brighter, so I'll show you what it looks like as we come to it. And this is the chamber that we're going to walk through. And I think we did this our first day, 2 days ago. And here's the big room chamber right here. So we're at the red dot here down in the lower right. And we're going to walk through that path. Right there. It's called the big room. This is the ceiling. There's a lot of big, large rock formations at the bottom that have fallen. And these are the walkways right here that we're on. This isn't even lit up, this area. The lights cause algae to grow. That's why it's really dim in here. And a lot of this has like bacteria, soot from over the ages. They used to allow smoking in the 70s in here, so a lot of this is not bright white. The white is the newest formations, the brighter white. Here's a formation here. It comes up from the ground. I like the ones that drip down the best. They're really cool. And then the curtains and sleeve ones look really beautiful as well. Let's see if I can get this. I think my light's too... A lot of this isn't lit up. There he is. And the ceiling, there he is. It's pretty high up, but this isn't the highest ceiling that we have in here. This is one of the chambers of the big room. I think the prettiest room is the King's Palace. That's what we did yesterday. In the distance, you can see some people walking back in here. See them? There they are. So this is one of the chambers of the big room. That just gives you an idea of how far away everything is. Let me see, I can get Colin to walk over here. This is the part of it that we're walking 1.3 miles, but there's like 33 miles of cave in this area, in this Carlsbad Caverns area that they've explored and walked. There's another cave in this park that is 150 miles long that they were exploring. This is a pretty deep hole here, which is hard to see. It goes down and it's black. There's more people walking over there. Let's see if I can focus on them. There they are. So that kind of tells you how far this is across. Here's giant stalagmites forming right here. This one looks like a volcano. It's in front of me. It's pretty dark. We only see it in a silhouette. It's not lit up. Here's a lot of newer formation coming down here because it's really bright white. Like I said, in the 1940s, they allowed smoking, and they had a cafeteria down here. Now the cafeteria is just upstairs. You know, they were actually cooking down in here. And that caused all this to brown, pollution. Here's the ceiling up in here.
Glenn.
This is my favorite kind of formation here. They look like giant jellyfish. See if I can. This jellyfishy looking thing. And this is cool here, where they're touching, almost touching. where the stalagmite touches the stalactite. Or almost touches, yeah. I just got dripped on. And here's the ground area, and this is where some of the things were broken off. You can see where it's bright white. Right there. There's a drip. Here's our walkway. It's pretty dark.
Look at that tree. Look at that. Oh my God. That's that. Dang.
These are huge. I'm going to show you. Here's everybody right here walking. There's the railing. See, there's people right there. So you can see how big this is. And these are huge too. Right there. Halls of Giants, that's what these are.
But these aren't called stalagmites. These are called dome columns of stalagmites.
Stalagmites. And they're the giant dome columns. The one to the right is 62 feet and 58 feet to the left. This is beautiful up in here. I just got dripped on. Right here. And there's Colin. I can't see him, he's right here. That's a white. That's pretty. Here's some cool curtain formations coming down. That's neat. And then this one, Colin, stand up next to that so I can show how big. There he is.
Follow my Instagram.
Huh? So there was Colin, and then I'm gonna go up. This is the next chamber that we're in. The railings are here, so I can give it. They're 3 feet up because they come a little bit below my waist. This is a really giant stalagmite, but it's not lit up. This is a little path of water, but it's almost impossible to see in the video. Here's a pool of water. You can see the reflection. And so the water just drips naturally and forms pools through this layer of rock. Every once in a while we get dripped on. Stalagmite. But you can see how wet it is because it keeps on getting dripped on. but it's right in the walkway, so people are bumping it. But that was once a tall one, but it broke. You can see where it's dripping. Something's hitting that. So that's been dripping in that same place for thousands of years, because it had formed really big. It's pretty wet right in this area. It's interesting. There's a lot of water dripping everywhere. I can feel it dripping in my hair.
Oh, really? I haven't felt any.
Yeah, I got a
But
drip.
every pool of water I see never has a drip except for this one.
Yeah, all the ripples. This is a pretty big area. There's not a lot of decorative things, stalagmites or stalactites on the ceiling, but it's a pretty vast, huge chamber, and with lots of ponds of water. In front of me, these rocks are really sparkly. They're beautiful. Let's see if you can see the sparkle. Yeah. And these aren't lit up. Let me get up close and see. Yeah, it looks almost like salt crystals.
Oh, that's cool.
It's probably just like calcium crystal. I don't know though, look. That is pretty sparkly.
Oh my god, it's diamonds.
Look. Oh, it's probably the dust from when they drilled. Look, I think they started drilling in here. See the holes? They may have drilled
For what?
to put these railings in at one time. I don't know. I see fingerprints all in it though.
Yeah, you can see someone's hand.
Yeah.
Remember we went down 750 feet, then it just stopped?
Yeah, but I thought the whole thing was a wooden walkway at one time.
They had only the natural entrance. That's what the girl said.
Yeah.
The guy made those Okay.
This is close up. It's all sparkling. The white part's beautiful. And that does look like some crystals in there. This is a rock formation that's right in front of me. So you get a peek at what it looks like. This is without the pollution all over it. This brown is from age, being exposed to over the centuries. But the white part's really beautiful when it's clean. So the sparkling white rock is hydrogen hydrated calcium sulfate or gypsum. That's why it sparkles. 15 feet deep here, right here. But what I've been seeing along the way is the same thing, gypsum. The acidic water, the gypsum dissolves easily. That's why it's the vertical holes that look drilled by the dripping water. These are the speleothems. And most of them are dry and inactive, but this one is active. The crystal spring dome, the sparkling wet stalagmite in front of you, may be the largest speleothem still growing. Dripping or flowing water may cause the speleothems to grow or to dissolve, depending on the chemistry and the water volume. Changes occur too slowly to be noticed during a human lifetime. Here it is close up so you can see it's wet and sparkling, so it's still in formation. And it's beautiful and white, not dark. And then the water drips down. This is an edge of it. It's going in a hole on the other side, which is really cool because it has some, see how it's coming down and it's in a black hole below it. This is the back side of it. It's not lit up, so it's hard for me to see. It's so huge. It's about, I want to say 20 feet tall. Yeah. I'm walking around it. There, we just walked around it. There's the back in here. In front of me is these cool little things. All these popcorny looking. There's the ground in front of me. This is really beautiful. And this is called the Painted Grotto. Yeah. It looks like it's about 8 to 10 feet tall, what you're seeing here. Lots of little tiny stalactites coming from the ceiling. Here's some things in front of us right here. Let's see if I can get that. I don't want to photograph. This is at the top of the hill that we climbed up. Guadalupe, it's part of the Guadalupe, I think part of the Guadalupe Mountains. And it's in front of the, let me go quickly, Carlsbad Caverns entrance. We just came from this direction above these hills here, above these cliffs. That was Carlsbad Caverns. And we're about to come down. It's a big steep hill. We're gonna go around this hairpin turn. So the car's here. That's our rental. And then we're gonna come around here. Here's where the camper's coming. So we're gonna come down the hill. It wasn't too bad driving. I'm not really thrilled about driving in these hills. It wasn't too bad. And we even did it at night. We just went slow. It's 40 miles an hour during the day, and it's 30 miles an hour at night, which is pretty steep. So we're gonna go down this area, just around that hairpin turn. It takes us down. And then, of course, it continues even more, but through these hills we're going. And this is pretty desert, a big desert area. It's mainly rock, though. We poked around in some of these trails down here yesterday, and it's mainly just sandy rock, and the rock breaks up pretty easily. It's probably made with a lot of sandstone. And there's a lot of shell and, ancient sea forms in these rocks. You can see barnacle and sponge-looking things. The rocks are pretty brittle, though, and very little life besides cactus and some of these little shrubs here. It looks like some wildflowers as well, but the cactus grow right in the rock. It's just a rocky desert, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, that's how you get up to Carlsbad Caverns. At night, our first night that we were here, we did do the bat tour, where you get to see the bats fly out of the cave, which was really a neat experience. You weren't allowed to photograph, though, however, or video, because of the disturbance to the bats. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe.